Hey everybody, this is JJ, and today what I want to do is give you guys a quick look at the Ontario RAT-7. Now, I've owned this knife for about a year now, and I just haven't had a chance to get it out and get into the field and all that kind of stuff. And used it the other day in a video on how to cut down a tree with just a knife. You guys can click that link up there to see that if you want. But today I kind of wanted to give you guys just a little bit closer look at it. So again, it's made by Ontario. This is the sheath that it comes with. As you can see, it's made to be able to integrate with Powell's webbing or Molly webbing. It has a nice big pocket on here that can fit. This is a Leatherman core, and it'll slide down in there. You could also put your own kind of survival kit or, you know, whatever you wanted down in there. It's got a nice buckle to keep it closed, and then it's got two snaps for the handle. Pretty nice sheath. I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about the sheath, other than the fact that the plastic insert where the blade sits, you can kind of get a little bit of a jiggle, wiggle sound, whatever. So that's not my most favorite thing about it. But the knife definitely gets, you know, held in securely and all that kind of stuff once it's snapped in. You know, it's not like a Kydex sheath, but the snaps are going to hold it. You know, it's not going to come out or anything like that. So as far as the knife goes itself, the knife has a lot of features that I really like for a wilderness survival blade, and that is exactly why I picked it up. And the main thing is it's got a good heavy-duty blade. It's about 3/16 or so thick, which I think is just about perfect for wilderness survival. Not too heavy and not too thin as well. Now, I advocate using a 3-knife system, and this would be the largest of the 3 knives. Now, as far as this knife goes, you can see that it is got a coating over the blade. I'm not a super huge fan of that, but as time goes on and that wears down, it doesn't bother me so much. When it's brand new and it catches everything in it like this, and I don't really like it a whole lot. We've got a micarta handle on it, okay? And that's fine. I like micarta, it feels good in the hand and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got a lanyard hole in the end, and then a little bit of a pommel down there as well. If you wanted to bang some stakes in or something like that, you could. But the real strength in this knife comes in the blade, and like I said, 7 inches is about ideal, because then, you know, if you're cutting through a 3 or 4 inch piece of wood, you know, trying to do like a split wood fire or something like that, then you've still got enough left over to go ahead and baton down through the wood. The other thing that I like about it is that it has a nice flat backside. You know, as far as for batoning goes, that's a good thing. You don't necessarily want a double edge on there, because then you're just going to cut up the baton that you're using. It's got a little bit of jimping right here, which is nice, and it does have a kind of a choil where you can get your finger up on there, and you can kind of get up and do a little bit more fine work on it, you know, too. So I like all those features. I think those are all great features. It is obviously a full tang all the way up through the handle, but these are all great features for a wilderness survival type blade. So with that, let's go ahead and get down here and split up a little bit of wood. I've got a couple of pieces down here that I'm going to kind of baton through. Then we're going to use it to split up and kind of do some twist splitting, you know, making some kindling and that kind of thing. We'll do some feather sticks. We'll go ahead and shave, do some shavings for tinder and all that kind of stuff as well. So stick with me and we'll get going. Okay guys, so here we've got a nice big chunk of wood. As you can see, this is right where the kind of the Y was in the tree. It's got some knots in it and all that kind of stuff, so this is definitely not a perfect piece of wood. It's going to take a little bit to beat down through it, and with that, we'll go ahead and get going. And this is kind of what I'm saying is if you can see how there's plenty left over, you get a good sized, you know, forearm or bigger chunk of wood, you've still got plenty of blade left to actually hit the baton with. And that really makes life a lot easier. It keeps you from having, you know, glancing blows and stuff like that, and it just works well for split wood fires. Like I said, this is going to be a tough piece. There we go. All right. So it made pretty easy work of that. Sort of. Get a bigger beater stick. Can definitely take some abuse. Alright, no problems with that. See how it does splitting up some of the smaller kindling and that kind of thing. Feels good. The point is actually thin enough to actually penetrate through that wood. Kind of helps with the twist splitting a little bit. Even on some bigger pieces, it does pretty well as well. Alright, so it seems to do okay as far as the kindling goes. Now let's see if we can get some feather sticks out of it. Okay, I think it does a pretty awesome job at feather sticks. The blade profile is thin enough that it actually allows you to get down there, you know, and you can make some pretty nice little curls. So that's kind of nice. And then the other thing is, having that longer blade allows you to kind of grab this other side and control as you're going down and doing your feather sticks. So that's good too. But yeah, definitely not too bad at all on that. Get some pretty good controllability. You know, and it seems to put out nice feathery little curls. First, we'll go ahead and do some real fine curls on this one. Okay, and does a pretty good job on little finer curls as well. Alright, now let's go ahead and do some shakes. Basically I'm holding 90 degrees, holding the blade 90 degrees to the stick on this one. It actually makes really good hardwood shavings as well. Again, like I said, you know, a couple times already, and that's just the benefit of having a bigger blade like this, bigger, nice wide blade. You know, you can grab it, use it almost like a draw knife, kind of with two hands in those situations and stuff. It just is a really good blade profile for wilderness survival type stuff. Okay guys, so that has been a real quick look at the Ontario RAT-7. Like I said, I've owned this for about a year or so and just hadn't had a chance to get it out here in the woods a whole lot, but got to do a little testing with it today, and I did it in that other video as well where I was cutting down a tree, you know, kind of showed you how to cut down a tree without an axe or a saw or anything like that. Basically just by batoning him through it. But anyway, as far as the rating goes on this thing, gosh, I gotta say that I think it's about a 9.5 out of 10. If I was going to add or change anything about it, probably the only thing that I would change is that I would want a smoother finish on the blade. You know, I don't like the rough textured edges on it because it just holds all the crap in there, and that's a pretty small nitnoid thing, because with time that wears off and it's not that big of a deal. Other than that, you know, if I was going to change anything else, I might put a few finger grooves, you know, some kind of where they match your hand right down here inside the handle, but again, that's a pretty nitnoid thing as well. Overall, I think the knife's very solid, and if you are looking for a larger wilderness survival type blade, I think this one's going to definitely do it for you. It's going to work for the big cutting tasks, you know, for batoning down through stuff, and it's also going to work for doing the smaller, finer feather sticks and, you know, carving and that kind of thing. So, you know, not too bad at all. But anyway, the blade is plenty big enough and strong enough and durable enough that you could also dig with it. You could also chop through ice and that kind of thing. You know, it's got a pretty fine edge on it, so, you know, if you do those kinds of things, you can expect to have to you know, straighten up the edge, because it's not going to be a super durable edge because it's a fairly thin profile blade, you know, at 3/16 or so. But, you know, and I'll throw in the all the specifications and all that kind of stuff on the knife as well, so you guys can take a look at that too. But overall, my impressions are this is a very solid knife. I think it will work great in a wilderness survival type setting. It could also work good on like a war belt, or, you know, a tactical belt or something along those lines if you wanted. I mean, it's a pretty solid knife all the way around. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. As always, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys. Let me know down below what knife in this style category, you know, the 7-inch size blade, is your favorite blade. Take it easy, guys.